Introduction to Basic Math. Simplifying math. Every day, operators face math problems. Many problems require the conversion of one number with specific units to a different number using different units. Typically, these will include the following. How would I use any math skills in the water wastewater industry? Pumps and motors. Chemical dosages or demand residual. And velocity or calculation related to distribution mains. These are just a few examples of what an operator can find in the water or wastewater industry. There is so much more to take into consideration, but for now, let's get down to basics. Addition and subtraction. Simple math equations can be added or subtracted and shown in the following way. Or you can align the numbers like this. Subtraction can be a little more tricky in that the numbers must be aligned in the way you intend. Let's say you want to subtract 50 from 75. You would read it as a sentence and it would look like this: 75 minus 50 equals 25. However, you must be very careful if you are attempting to subtract a large number from a smaller number. 15 minus 30 equals. This sentence would be read as, out of 15 items, take away 30. Is it possible to get a whole number out of that answer? If you had 15 candy bars, you could give 30 of them away, right? That would be an amazing magic trick. The answer would be an integer rather than a whole number. But don't worry, we will only focus on the real numbers for this lesson. Let's begin the magic by starting with the basics. As a water wastewater operator, you will mostly use multiplication and division for your job duties. Multiplication problems can look different. Take a look at these examples. With multiplication, it doesn't matter what order the numbers are in the equation. It could be 2 times 6 or 6 times 2. But division problems are similar in subtraction because it's important how you set your math up in your sentence. It would be impossible to divide 8 by 72 and have a whole number as an answer. This would be equivalent of saying take 8 pennies and divide them evenly between 72 people. We will look again at this when we talk about decimals in the future. We're going to have some think time now with some practice problems, so get ready. Using your calculator. This is a quick tutorial. 144 divided by 4. You now understand how these two math problems are the same, really. How you put them into your calculator makes all the difference between getting their answer right or wrong. So we're going to go through a couple of examples now. First, let's talk about your calculator. You may find certain testing facilities will not allow you to bring in programmable calculators. Texas Instruments has some very easy-to-use calculators that are not programmable. One that's highly recommended for operators is a TI-30X. You can also use a very basic calculator sold by other companies as well. You will mostly use it for multiplying and dividing, and having the fancy buttons will not always be as useful as you think. Keep it simple to use, and most likely you'll get to bring it in for your state examination. Now let's start working with your calculator. When you see a math problem similar to those above, you will first press the top number of the fraction into the calculator. Press 144 into your calculator. Then press the dividing button. Press the 4 for the bottom of the fraction. Now press the equal button. The answer is 36. You should find this in the digital display. Let's try a new math problem. Use your calculator. 755 divided by 5. So in other words, you're dividing 755 by the number 5. Did you get 151 as the answer? The clear button is very important. You need to press the clear button after each answer. Otherwise, you run the risk of getting the wrong answer for your next question. Now let's try to use the calculator incorrectly so you can see the difference. 755 divided by 5 again. Solve this by pressing 5 divided by 755 and the equal sign. Did you get 0.0067? Can you see how important it is to make sure you use your calculator correctly? There is a huge difference in answers. This will become more important as the math becomes more complex and you have to divide or multiply more numbers. Most of the time when solving math equations, it is more of an organization problem rather than a math problem. You can do this math. It is just a matter of organizing the information and putting the numbers in correctly into the calculator. Now we're going to have some think time. You're going to have a couple of practice problems to work through. Let's try some very basic wastewater math you will need to know to be a successful operator. Let's find the weight in pounds of a cubic foot of water. Every operator needs to know the weight in pounds of a cubic foot of water. So here's the formula. Next, you multiply 8.34 and 7.48. Be sure to get the correct units in the answer. Next, you'll see there are gallons in the numerator, top of the fraction, and denominator, bottom of the fraction. Because we're multiplying, these two units cancel each other out, so we'll cross out the gallon units. Now you need to use a calculator to find the answer. Be sure to pause the video if you need to, and restart it when you're ready. Take the short quiz for basic mathematics if you would like to assess your learning. Once you've passed the quiz, move to lesson number 2, part 2, simple equations.